How's it going, boys? Johnny Superbman here, bringing you another episode of Questions with Superbman. That's right. And in the last video, boys, I was going down through all the comments, and you guys weren't really thumbing up other comments. I saw the same question multiple times. It'd be a lot easier, guys, if you just read the comments and thumbs up the same kind of question that you want to ask, okay? That way I know to answer that question. But there was a few questions with a lot of thumbs up, and I'll start with an easy one. This one comes to us from Mr. PZZ123 Mister. What does 2BC mean? Well, when me and Domsky were starting up the channel, Domsky is my brother. When we were starting up the channel, we were trying to find a name that would ring off, ring off the tongue very easily. Something easily to remember. Once you hear it once, you could find it very easily. No dashes, no numbers. So we were fiddling around with usernames, and 2BC Productions came up. And we thought about it. We were like, hey, that could mean Two Brothers Collide Productions. You know, something that just kind of makes sense. Not a lot of time or effort was put into it. We just wanted something that people could remember very easily. 2BC Productions was available. It made sense to us, so that's what it means. Two Brothers Collide. Alright, so thank you, Mr. PZZ123 Mister. Next, what do you think? This one comes to us from Laggers54. No, sorry, this one comes to us from Dog Whisperer 54. My bad. What do you think about the Taylor Hall injury? The skate across the face. Oh, man. Very dangerous. He was very, very lucky. Now, I was listening to a couple analysts saying, because it seems to be now that in warm-up players are wearing helmets now, and I think that's a great thing. But I heard a couple analysts saying, oh, you know, what is this? One accident happens. It's never happened before, and it happens once. And what? All of a sudden, everyone has to wear helmets in warm-up. I was listening to someone, I forget who it was, but they said Jerome McGinley, his whole career, has never wore a helmet in his warm-up. But now, and it's like 37, 15 years in the NHL, he is now wearing a helmet in warm-up. And they were saying, you know, we shouldn't overreact on something like this. But here's the thing. That Taylor Hall got so lucky with that. That could have been 10 times worse, okay? You saw the scar. Imagine if the scar was across his eye or across both eyes or across the neck, okay? That's something that, you know, knock on wood, but I hope, and like that's something that could have killed somebody if it was in the wrong place, all right? So that is something that it only has to happen once for it to be tragic. So I am on board with players wearing their helmets in warm-up, okay? With pucks flying around, you got, 18 players skating around in warm-up, things can happen. And Taylor Hall, the injury showed that the worst can happen, okay? So don't take it under, and Taylor Hall is a superstar. He's the franchise player. I mean, I don't want to say it should happen to grinders or any fourth liners and get away with it. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But here's a player that Edmonton is probably going to put tons of money into, okay? An asset, a commodity for these guys. And they almost got ruined because of a warm-up, a freak accident in warm-up. So I think from now on, players should be wearing helmets in warm-up, okay? It's the smart thing to do. And thank God Taylor Hall is not too injured. You know, looks like he's going to be able to play. He's got a big bruise, a big scar, but it didn't affect his eyesight. He didn't break any orbital bones, so hopefully he comes back from this because this kid is looking like he's going to be a superstar. So that's my take on that. Thank you, Dog Whisperer 54. This one comes to us from the SateTube. I probably pronounced that right. The SateTube. And this is a good one. Who, in my opinion, is the most overrated and underrated players in the NHL? Now, in case anyone didn't know, it was some Sports Illustrated magazine. It was voted on that Dion Phaneuf was the most overrated player in the NHL. And you know what? Haters are going to hate Dion Phaneuf, the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's going to get a lot of attention, a lot of spotlight. And I'm not saying that Dion Phaneuf is a top 5 defenseman. I'm not saying that, but he's definitely not the most overrated player in the NHL. You guys want to know in my opinion, who's the most overrated player in the NHL? All right, here it is. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but it's Alexander Ovechkin. Now, hang on. Let me explain myself. When I say overrated, I don't say bad. This guy is outstanding, okay? He is an unbelievable athlete. Very talented. But let's take everything into consideration here, okay? Alexander Ovechkin, in the 2008-2009 season, signed a 13-year, $124 million contract, okay? That means he's at a 9.5 salary cap hit per year for 13 years. Now, this is why I find him to be overrated. Yes, he's scored 60 goals in the past in a regular season. Yes, he's a 50-goal scorer. Yes, he's a 100-point man. Yes, 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 yes. But for 13 years, you're expecting him to continue that for 13 years? All right? I mean, that like for the next 13 years, they're going to have a 9.5 cap hit, okay? If what happens if Ovechkin the season like this season continues, where he's below a point a game type player? In 47 games played this year, he has 39 points, and he's serving a 3-game suspension because he's a bit of a cheap player. He's a bit of a dirty player. When things aren't going his way, he'll go in for a body check. He'll leave his feet. He'll go head hunting. All right, I don't think that's debatable. I mean, you guys can say what you want about Crosby, but at least he doesn't go around trying to kill people with his body checks. I mean, I like Ovechkin. He's a power forward. I like him using his body like that, but not when he's getting frustrated. Like you saw the hit against Pittsburgh. Not cool. Not cool. And here's another little interesting stat here. Okay, so Ovechkin, 9.5 salary cap hit. Guess what? Joffrey Lupul and Phil Kessel. Both players, 49 games played this year. Lupul has 52 points. Kessel has 51 points. Both having more points per games played, okay? Joffrey Lupul's salary cap hit, $4.25 million. Phil Kessel's salary cap hit, $5.4 million. They're what, $250,000 more than Alexander Ovechkin. So very similar. So on Washington, you have one player who's getting 39 points per game at 9.5, and then on Toronto, you have two players who both have more points per games played, both have more than 50 points for 100 points total, or 103 points total, and they're at the same salary cap. So Washington has $9.5 million tied up in 39 points this year, while Toronto has 103 points tied up in the same salary cap. That's why he's overrated, boys. Okay? He's getting paid so much money. And at 13 years, how can you not expect him to turn it into a day-to-day work ethic? Like, he's not playing for his contract anymore. If things are not going right, he might start to get bored. He might start to not put in 110%, and that's arguably what he's doing this year. So that's why he's overrated. He's getting paid way too much. 13 years, this guy can just lay back. The money is coming. The money is coming. I agree that he's a draw. He's a ticket sales, right? He's gonna produce ticket sales for Washington. He's a great face for the team. All that good stuff, yes, but we're talking about on-ice performance. He hasn't won a Stanley Cup. He hasn't won a gold medal, okay? He's arguably not a great leader because he gets frustrated. He starts doing stupid things. He got Bruce Boudreau fired, even though Bruce... Well, what has Bruce done? He got them how far in the last few years? They haven't made it past the second round, okay? All this added up equals the most overrated player in the league for me. He's still great, yes. I know I've been rambling on here for a little bit, but still, he is overrated to me, okay? And if we go to the underrated players, I got two players here that are underrated to me. First, Matt Moulson for the New York Islanders. I got to see a home-and-home against the Islanders versus Toronto, and this guy, you know what? It might just be because he's playing alongside Johnny Tavares, but he's pretty good. In the last 3 seasons, look at this. 3 years ago, 30 goals. Last year, 31 goals. This year, 22 goals, only in 48 games. So this guy's going for 3 straight seasons with 30 goals. Underrated player, Matt Moulson, all right? And also, my second pick for underrated player, Craig Anderson for the Ottawa Senators, their goalie. They're having a great season this year, and you know what? You have to tip your hat to their goaltender, Craig Anderson. He came on board last year, and look at this. Look at his little stats since he's been on Ottawa. Last year, since joining the team, he was 11-5-1. So when Ottawa had Craig Anderson, they were a winning team last year. 11-5-1, .939 save percentage, 2.05 goals against. So yeah, he only played less than 20 games last year for Ottawa, but still, they were a winning team with Anderson last year. And this year, nothing different. He's 25-16-4 with a save percentage of .910 and a goals against of 2.90. So those are my two underrated players, Matt Moulson and Craig Anderson, and my overrated player, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for it, but boys, if you're going to get paid $9.5 million per year, you got to produce. And you guys got him till the 2020 season. You got 7 more years of this. If he doesn't produce, good luck, and good luck moving that asset. Good luck. So that's my overrated player. So thank you to the SiteTube, and boys, if you have any more questions, put them in the comments. Thumbs up those comments, and I'll get back to them to the next video, alright? So for Johnny Superbman and the Great Domsky, take it easy, boys, and we'll see you next time.